Shermer, this is a guy we're just getting 50 on. We're not going to mess around with him. We need his speed and run stopper tendency on our team. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our unheralded dynasty, we are set to kick off season 2. We've got our first recruiting class in. We got a lot of solid freshmen and some JUCO guys that I'm really excited about. So let's dive in and check out our roster. 35 new guys, a big overhaul to the type of talent we're working with here at UTSA. So if you've watched the previous episodes, you saw that Sateki Singh had a really great offseason, jumped up to 75 overall. Shero got to 70. And we got our 2 freshmen here. Really excited about Alex Jolly and the field general mental ability. That's huge. I love being able to see the blitzes and the coverages pre-snap. I think that's a big advantage. And we got John Amerson here, a 2-star guy, and I'm excited to see how he develops alongside Alex Jolly. Running back wise, we got Bickerstaff and Abraham here. I think Abraham's going to get the start over Bickerstaff. I think one big reason is that change of direction. I know Bickerstaff has better ball carrier vision. But for now, we're going with Abraham. We may flip-flop them every game, too, as I think about it. Toll will be our backup. And we got Boone, Chuck Wu, and Sun. Sun was a 2-star guy we brought in, but looks really promising alongside Sean Boone and Baraka here. Fullback-wise, we got Brian Campanaro, elite dev, fullback. Nothing says an obscure victories gaming dynasty like an elite dev fullback. So excited to have him. We actually redshirted him last year so we get 2 seasons of playing games with him. And this season, we're not going to play every game. We'll probably do a couple of play the moments. Again, want to get through this one fairly quick and get a redshirt freshman next year when they're ready to play. Wide receivers, we got Fleming. He's a solid receiver, 93 speed, deep threat guy. Kiernan, I think, is going to be a solid possession guy for us. 85 speed, 85 excel. But look at his physicals. He's got cutter, press pro, double dip, sure hands. I mean, I think they're all bronze, but for what we're working with, I think he's going to be really good for us. Tinker, another deep threat, as is Minor. Not the top end speed. I've said it before. Not the top end speed we want, but the acceleration is kind of there. Toner is a JUCO guy we brought in this year. JUCOs in this game tend to come in, I think, mid 60s to upper 60s. I don't think that's a reflection of what JUCO guys come in at. So I bumped Marco Toner up to 75 overall as a sophomore. I think that's pretty realistic. I didn't change any of his athletic skills, just some of the position skills. So excited to have him. He'll get time probably over Tinker and Minor. So he may be our slot guy, or he'll be our 2, and we'll put Kiernan in the slot. Chosen, another deep threat with pretty good speed. Not the top end speed we want with a deep threat, but he's got the acceleration there. And James Cavale is kind of the same thing, Cavale. Then we brought in Charbonnet and Milburn. Really excited for these 2 guys. Milburn is an absolute burner. Charbonnet is a physical guy, but he's got 95 speed. Really excited to see what these 2 can do. Tight end is one position where I'm really considering starting Rossi and Babcock. When you look at the speed that they bring, 86 and 87 over these guys. Maybe Alonzo gets the start and we sub in these guys, but I'm just not, Alex Cheek is a vertical threat at 78 speed. His blocking's not going to be there. I may want to just put Rossi in. Babcock may get redshirted, but I'm seriously considering getting these 2 on the field as soon as possible. And then we'd probably switch the redshirt to Folk, being he's a blocking tight end. And then Markowitz and Cheek would be our backups. But really excited about Rossi and Babcock and what they bring to the table. Left tackle, we got Baselli. We moved him from guard. He's now a power left tackle, although his strength is only at 81. Costanzo is going to back him up, as is Liggins, and then Eifert's going to get the red shirt. A lot of our freshmen are going to redshirt, just so we get that full eligibility from them. Even the tight ends, I'm not sold on starting them, but they're the closest, I think. We got Ollie in office back here behind Hirth. Hirth, I think, brings good speed at the guard position. He's got quick step and quick drop. Ollie in office will develop behind him. Then we got DeLuca and Madden redshirting this year. At center, we got Brian Sweet, Diego Orlando. We had solid centers, I think. 78, 76 as sophomores. Still have some room for improvement here. Let's just check them out. I don't want to check out everybody, but Brian Sweet is maxed out. Never mind. Orlando, does he have anything? Yeah, he's still got a little bit of room. So I'm guessing Diego will overtake Sweet next year, but we're going to ride with Sweet this year. Maybe we'll move one of our guards over to center as well, one of these freshman guys. At right guard, we got Grant Pilgrim. We got 80 overall, solid as a sophomore. Colombo behind him and Pope. Pope with that 58 speed, I don't know. Maybe he moves out to tackle. We'll kind of see how things shake out here. And then we got Forwarda and Wake behind him as well. Right tackle, we got Mendoza, 83 overall. So our O-line is pretty solid for what we need. I like that. Jason Lutris, get another JUCO guy we brought in. I bumped him up to 75 overall, just to what I think make it a little bit more realistic as they come in from the JUCO route. And then Emmanuel Flott, the 2-star tackle we brought in. Well, redshirt, we'll see what he develops into. So we brought in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new offensive linemen. Lutris may get the red shirt taken off so he can get some reps, but we'll see. So bringing in 6 offensive linemen, really going to strengthen that O-line. We won't need to bring in as many this year. We'll talk about that once we get to the recruiting board. But left end, we got Vasquez, really solid left end. He was a D tackle. We moved him here just because he has more speed than some of the other guys we had here. But he looks like he's going to be solid, 84 overall. Clinton's going to be behind him at 73. And then Cookus, who I think was an athlete, not the greatest of speed, but we'll see how he develops. Maybe he gets bumped into D tackle if he puts on some more weight. Right end, we got Zechariah Robinson, 85 overall. He's got the star insignia for us on defense. Kevin Sun behind him. Then we got Tapp and Helassie behind him. Helassie is a 1-star athlete middle linebacker. Really excited to see him. He's got 85 speed, good agility, change of direction. Could be a real force for us, along with Tapp. I think these 2 guys can develop really well. And that probably goes for everybody we brought in. But I'm pointing out Helassie because he's from Minnesota. So excited to have these 2 guys at right end. D tackle, we brought in 3 Bavaro. Again, another JUCO guy we brought in. Bumped him up to 76 overall. He'll get in behind these 2 guys. And then Fumagalli, who had a good offseason, will be behind him. Small and Laporta will get the red shirt. Left outside linebacker, we move Micah Fabian from the middle to the outside just to solidify our linebacking core. He's at 78 overall. Reynoldson's behind him at 74. Decent speed out of these 2 guys. And then Timot Young is an elite dev outside linebacker that we're excited about. May move to D-end over time, depending on what we need at each of those positions. Middle linebacker, Eric Huey at 78 speed. He is a run stopper. I think it's important to have a run stopper in the middle to really solidify your run defense. If you have too many pass coverage guys with the speed, it's too easy to be run against. So I'm glad we have Eric Huey here. Then behind him, we got elite dev Dante Ware, field general, 84 speed. That's more kind of what we're looking for in that middle linebacker position, something in the mid-80s speed-wise. Dante has a tackling up at 89. He's going to be a good one for us. Really excited about him. And you'll notice that a lot of these guys we brought in don't have any deal breakers. We're very careful about bringing in guys that don't have deal breakers, so we know they're going to be here for the long haul. We know they're bought into our philosophy and our program. Right outside linebacker, Vilvario Dillard. Really excited about him. 85 speed, 84 overall. He's a run stopper type. He's got the good speed, acceleration. We got 2 run stoppers out of our linebackers who are mostly on the field. 3, so we have, I didn't realize that, but we got 3 run stoppers. If we go 3-3-5, and they've all got decent speed. I don't know about their coverage. We'll check Dillard here. Yeah, zone is 75, man 83. He's going to be solid for us. Then we got Eric Price behind him. Power rusher, 77 speed, maybe somebody that gets moved to D-end. And then Darius Jasmine behind them, 91 speed, 87 acceleration. If we've got a solid middle linebacker like we do, I love having Darius Jasmine to kind of fly around in pass coverage and then get to the edges as well. Cornerback was where we made the biggest changes. We added a lot of safeties, moved them down to corner to solidify this room. Otherwise, we had, 2 freshmen that were going to start, and we had depth at safety. So Jordan Santos comes in at 82, Gatson at 81. He was a transfer portal guy, the only one we brought in. You can see we don't have great speed here, but I think these guys are going to be solid in man coverage and zone. I don't see a lot of weaknesses in the man coverage. I mean, we got 70s. Sizer here goes zone coverage at 95. He's going to probably be our slot guy. So just solid corners. I mean, they don't volley with speed, but I think they're going to be in the right place and take care of their assignments. And then we've got 4 freshmen that we brought in. Cabral, Trueblood, Machado, all 3-star. Machado's a man-to-man. Makes me a little hesitant to play him. He's got 60 zone, which isn't terrible. But again, I mentioned how we're going to develop these guys incrementally, manually. We're going to manually do player progression as well as the off-season stuff. I think it just reflects progression a little bit more. So we'll progress them incrementally each week, 1% better. And we'll just continue to add up 1% better every week. So it may total, at most 3 to 5 attribute points over the season. So nothing jarring, but I think enough to develop solid players. And then Cortez Tutt is a 1-star we brought in. I thought he had good enough speed. Acceleration at 78 isn't the greatest, but I think he can develop into something pretty solid here. Let's look at his player card. So he's got 25 caps here, but I think plenty of room to grow into a solid slot corner, third corner for us throughout his career. And then at free safety, we got Joaquin Quintero, 84 overall. Again, good speed. We got Gooch behind him. We made a massive jump. I think he jumped up like 14 from the offseason, which is great to see. And then Clay Sparks is an athlete middle linebacker we brought in. Put him at free safety. Strong safety, we got Kasim Gregg and Kenyon Kelly. Again, solid enough, I think. Kasim Gregg, just a junior at 86 overall. Really excited about him. I don't think I've mentioned him before, but maybe somebody that can potentially get drafted for us if he bumps up to 87, 88. And then Kelly's got some good speed back there when we go into that 3-3-5, 4-2-5 stuff, and we can get his speed on the field. Ty Wilkins, I think he's an elite dev. He was an athlete, wide receiver. We put him on defense. I just wanted that 95 speed on defense somewhere. I feel like we got enough speed at the wide receiver position in Charbonnet and Wilburn. And so I thought Wilkins would tie in well in the defensive backfield. So we're excited to have him. Forrest Newcomb is a 2-star athlete, middle linebacker, but I think he's got the speed, but I think he's got the skill set to play in the defensive backfield. I mean, his man coverage right now is 59. We played more zone than anything, so I'm not too concerned about that. So I think he's a good fit here. Kicker is Bortles, punter is Silva. I think we'll target a new kicker this year. 83 kick power isn't really going to do it for us. We got to get somebody in with a bigger leg, I think. And I think they're both capped out as far as kick power goes. So that's the roster. Quick rundown. Really just wanted to check in on where everybody's at and then talk about the JUCO guys we brought in so that everybody knows I bumped those guys up manually. I think the JUCOs, the way they come in this game is off, like I said before. Wanted to correct that. And then I think the player progression I'd like more control of. So I developed something I could have a little bit more control in both those things in my dynasty here. So really excited about those JUCO guys getting on the field. We may see them this year. Still potential that they could be redshirted. And then that player progression, it's going to be pretty fun to see the type of players we develop. All right, let's move on. All right, and by moving on, I meant stay on the roster screen here because we got to go over our roster needs. I think QB is something we could skip this year. I feel comfortable with Singh starting and the way he's going to develop. I think he's still got room, a little bit of power, I guess, in IQ. So he'll be low 80s probably next year. And if we're not satisfied with that, I think Jolly's going to jump up. Although I do think quarterbacks develop the slowest. But I feel comfortable with the guys we've got here. So we may not even target a QB in this recruiting class. Running back wise, same thing. We got Bickerstaff and Abraham coming back next year. They're both star dev. So I'm hoping that they both get drafted. And then as they finish up their senior year, these 3 guys are going to be ready to go. So if anything, we may bring in 1 running back. I mean, I say that now, and as I start recruiting, who knows what happens. But Toll will be gone after this year, and we'll still have 5 next year, which I think is more than enough. Fullback, we won't go after anybody this year. Brian will hold it down. Wide receiver, we may target another one. I think Tinker and Minor may get surpassed here. Maybe Charbonnet and Milburn catch up to them. I think Chosen is probably at the end of his development. Cavale as well. So we've got 4 guys that we may want to replace So I would say wide receiver is a need of ours. Tight end we can probably skip, unless we feel like we filled every other need and we want to see what we can find out there. But I think Rossi and Babcock are going to be really good. Folk will develop solid. We'll get him in some formations where we need to block, on a buck sweep or something like that. But, maybe Cheek gets overtaken by them. If we want to get another freshman for Cheek and Yeast, actually, I can see that happening. But tight end, not a need. Tackle, I think we're going to be okay. Costanzo's an impact player. He's got some more room for development. I think he's going to be solid as he goes. And we got 3 more years with him. Liggins may get surpassed by Eifert over time. Oh, actually, Liggins is impact. He's still got room, IQ, quickness, run blocking, footwork. So we got some good tackles out here. And then Eifert will develop as well. So left tackle, not a need. Left guard, and we get Ali in office. Ali is an impact guy. Quite a bit of room for improvement here with him. Only 16 caps, and he's a 2-star guy. So I think Ali will be around for a while. Office will be behind him. We got DeLuca and Madden, who we know are going to be here. So we got 4. So left guard, not a need. Center, maybe something we have to look at, just because we saw Sweet is maxed out. Orlando's pretty close. And if we want to get guys up into the mid-80s, we're going to have to get somebody new in here or move one of our current freshmen there. Right guard, we got Pilgrim, Colombo. You can see Pilgrim is maxed out. Colombo's got a little bit more room for improvement. So next year, we're probably looking at Colombo. Pope, we'll see. Speed isn't where we want it to be, but he can definitely get better. I'm assuming that Ferwerda will take a fairly big jump. I put himself into the conversation with Colombo and Pope. Pilgrim, we know, is done at 80. It's a solid offensive lineman, but we're probably looking for something more out of our guards. We may want to get one guard in. Right tackle, we got Mendoza, normal dev, a little bit of room for improvement here with quickness. So maybe he gets, to 84, 85, assuming he can train and develop. We'll see how much more he can develop. But then we got Lutris behind him and Flott. I feel comfortable, I think, redshirting Lutris because we got these 3 guys here. But I do think we'll need to target 1 tackle. So we need a center guard tackle. So 3 offensive linemen, less than half of what we brought in last time. So we won't have to bring in as many offensive linemen, and that'll free us up to target other areas. I wanted to get offensive linemen in the first year and go from there. Left end, Kevin Vasquez will be here. He's going to be solid. Clinton will be behind him. He's a normal dev, got a little bit of room for improvement here. So left end, we should be good. Cookus will be here. Robinson will be gone. Sun, I think Tapp will make a jump next year, get to the mid-70s and push Sun for playing time. And then Helassi, we'll see what he does. But I think we could target maybe 1 to 2 DNs. Maybe that's even a transfer portal thing. Because as I look at it, we got Vasquez coming back at 87, but Sun's not going to get there. So DN may be something we think about transfer portal wise. D tackle, I think we're going to be solid. Sisk is, I think he's elite or star dev. Yeah, star. So he's still got room for improvement here. We'll see what he does after the training results next year. Coppin is the impact dev. Still room for improvement here. So D tackle, I think we're solid. We got Bavaro behind him. I may actually redshirt Bavaro, and we'll roll with these 2 guys. We'll have Bavaro as a sophomore next year behind 2 seniors. Fumagalli, we made a big jump last offseason, still has room, although that is a lot of caps. So maybe Fumagalli gets to mid-70s, maybe Small and Laporte to catch up with him. But I think we're set D-tackle wise right now. Again, it would be something we would add if we feel confident with everything else. Linebacker, I think, is something we're going to need. I'd love to get more speed on the field at the linebacker position. Fabian, normal dev, a lot of room for improvement though on the outside here, so we'll see if he gets to right now. So this is not the speed we're looking for. I do like that the Fabian's a run stopper, and maybe Timot Young goes to D end. That would be one way we could add depth to our D end room. Middle linebacker, I'd like to get 2. I think Hui is solid, but he is maxed out at 78 overall. So a solid middle linebacker. We just want some more room for growth, and maybe Dante Ware pushes him for playing time next year with the speed, with the elite dev. And I'd like to get 2 more guys in behind him this year. Right outside linebacker, we got 1 more year with Dillard after this year. Price is probably going to be cut, so I think we'll need 2 outside linebackers total to kind of get it to where we want to be. Jasmine, I think, is going to be really good. He's a star dev guy, and we just need to get depth behind him. Cornerback, I think a lot of these guys are normal dev, have a little bit of room for improvement here. And so we'll have Santos and Sizer back here. Santos had room for growth. Sizer a little bit, so they're going to be, Santos maybe mid-80s next year. Sizer will be low 80s. Villain, I think, is maxed out. Yeah, 1-star guy, a little bit of room, but he's going to get to mid-70s. That's it. And then we'll have Cabral, Trueblood, and Machado, who is going to take jumps. So we'll have 1, 2, 5. Who knows what Tut's going to do. He'll probably jump to, upper 60s, 70. So that's 6 corners. I don't know that we need to bring somebody in unless we want to go the transfer portal or JUCO route. At free safety, we got Quintero. He's impact dev. He's at 84. More room for improvement here. Gooch behind him took his big jump. He may be maxed out now. No, he's not. Wow. How did he get to 77? I can't remember if we moved him, but he's got still a lot more room. And as a zone archetype, I think he can get there. So free safety's looking good. Sparks is here. I like him there. Strong safety, we got Greg returning. He's a normal dev. Not much more room for improvement. Greg may get to 87, 88, maybe draftable. And then we got Wilkins and Newcomb behind him. So we could bring in, I think, maybe one more free safety and strong safety. And then we for sure need a new kicker or punter, somebody with a big leg. So those are the roster needs. I think the one we need the most is wide receiver. There's 4 possible guys who could get overtaken. That's Tinker, Minor, Chosen, and Cavell. And if they get overtaken, they may be cut. And I'd love to have guys in ready to develop for the next year. So as I counted out, I think we need 15 guys. That's not counting the normal dev guys who are, maybe maxed out that we want to replace. So we've got 15 spots for sure that we know we want to fill based on who's leaving and what we have. But I think there's still more guys on the team with normal development that have maxed out. I'll dive into that more later. And then I got to decide if I want to target 35 guys this year. I know that was kind of the plan, but we're losing how many? We're losing 9. I don't know if anybody's going to get drafted as a junior. So we got 9 for sure. We identified 15 needs. So I'll spend some more time diving into that. And I'll obviously let you guys know as we continue to recruit what my plan is. But that's it for roster needs. Let's move on. All right, before we jump into the recruiting board, I just want to go over the schedule one more time. I know I went over it last episode, but in case you're new to the channel, let's go through it. So we played 10 conference games. Right now we have 6 away games in conference and 4 home games. So our non-conference games are going to be home against North Texas, who I think is kind of a rival, and then Sam Houston. So I thought 2 schools that are nearby that could maybe be considered rivals. Some of the tougher games we got: LSU, Texas Tech, Houston will be tough, and no Texas A&M this year. A little bit of a break for us this year. Maybe we can put together a solid year and get into the conference championship. All right, let's move on to recruiting. All right, our recruiting board is set. I got 34 targets on here. As I mentioned earlier, wide receiver was the biggest need of ours, so I got these guys on here. We got 4. Who knows if we're going to be able to sign any of them. You can see here, Lester is getting close to his top 8, so maybe somebody we want to target right away if he doesn't make that cut heading into week 0. All right, I'm going to go through and offer all of these guys scholarships. There are a few guys that have us first on their board, and I wanted to wait and offer them in case we get an instant commit. I wanted that to be on the video because it's never happened to me yet. So I'll offer them and then we'll go from there. Boom, there we go. We got Andres Magnifico, power rushing right end. Right end was kind of a need of ours. So that's great, really going to help us. And you guys just witnessed my first instant commit in this game. It only took me how many months? But that's really exciting. Let's see if we can get anybody else. Boom, at 2 in a row. Joe Chicolo. 2 DNs. That makes things a lot easier moving forward. Wow, I did not expect that to happen. And our coach doesn't have that bonus for instant commit. So again, Magnifico, Chicolo, welcome to the team. Really setting the tone for this recruiting class. All right, let's see if we can get anybody else. All right, so real quick, I want to go through our recruiting board here. You got Orlando Heron, a route running wide receiver out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. We were 10th on his board. You can see for a route runner, he's got 89 speed, 92 agility. 88 acceleration. He's only 5'6", 160, but we think he can do some damage out of the slot with his route running ability. Next, we got Eric Ladson, another route runner out of Tomball, Texas. As you can see, again, 88 speed, 86 acceleration, 92 agility. Another solid route running guy. Again, only 5'6", 187. I don't know if we go after both these guys. You know, Ladson may be more intriguing because he's a little bit heavier, but we'll see how it shakes out as we go through the weeks. Next, we got David Quatoriano, deep threat, 93 speed, 92 acceleration, 6'2", 197. Got some good measurables there. Really like his numbers. And we got Joey Lester, a physical wideout, 93 speed, 83 acceleration only, but he's got 90 jump, spec catches at 85. So any four of these guys would be a great addition to our wide receiver room. I did add a junior college tight end just to add some depth. We do have some sophomores that are going to be juniors that are kind of maxed out, and Davin Pack could maybe step in. 83 speed is solid. Catching traffic 75. Agility's at 84. He's at 6'5", 220. So could be a great addition to our tight end room and be an upgrade to the tight ends we have. We added some offensive linemen here. Not going to dive into them. We don't have numbers on them yet. And then we did add a JUCO sophomore center. So 2 JUCOs on the board right now. I think we've got more coming. Again, we're a JUCO program. We want to bring in as many JUCOs as we can, as many 2-stars as we can, and 1-stars. I want it to be a mix of all of those. And hopefully we see some 1- and 2-star guys jump to some starting roles as the seasons go. Here we saw Magnifico and Chicolo, one right after the other, instantly committed. One out of Katy, Texas, one out of Red Oak. We'll say they're friends and they decided to commit together here and be a part of this rebuild. We got a JUCO D tackle here. Then we're jumping into some linebackers that we scouted. James DeLaro, pass coverage, 89 speed. Again, I like having at least one of my linebackers with speed who can get to the edge, cause some havoc, and just cover some ground on defense. Steven Shermer, run-stopping athlete. This guy, 92 speed, 87 acceleration. It'd be great to have him in the middle. He's got the size for it for sure at 6'3", 243. He may stay in the middle. He'll be a run stopper for us, plus he's got the speed. That would be ideal. Ramon Torres, field general, 84 speed. I think that's solid enough for a middle linebacker for what I'm looking for. Then another athlete run stopper here with 88 speed, 85 acceleration at 6'2", 235. Again, could move to the safety position, but we'll see how our roster shakes out. He could be a DN type as well with his size at 6'2", 235. Then we got Alonzo Doucette, a pass coverage guy. Didn't get to fully scout him. After one click, it's looking like he's got some solid numbers. That speed is towards the end. I know that shifts as you go, but looking solid enough. 75 change of direction I think is good for a middle linebacker with some coverage ability. And we got another athlete run stopper here. Another linebacker pass coverage. Again, just trying to get some speed at the linebacker position. Cornerback, I did add 2 JUCO guys, a sophomore and a junior. I think just because those redshirt freshmen are going to need somebody that could maybe fill in. I know we will have 2 redshirt juniors, but it would be nice to have a few more upperclassmen in our cornerback room. And then a JUCO free safety here, a hybrid. I like the hybrids. I know they get a lot of flack for not developing, but with how we're going to develop and do the incremental, I think it can turn out to be a pretty good safety. And then 2 strong safeties here, a hybrid and a zone, a punter. Then we got a quarterback here. Again, not a high need, but might as well throw one on there. We've got room. A couple of running backs here, another tight end. So some of these guys are kind of, I don't want to say afterthoughts, but not the highest priority. And then 2 middle linebackers who I think would be a great addition coming in as JUCOs. I think could help our linebacker room. And then 2 more kickers here, a kicker and a punter, both a power tendency. So that's a quick look at the 34. We'll dive into the numbers of these guys as the weeks go. But right now, we got an email from Coach Al about a 2-star wide receiver recruit. Let's check in and see what Al has to say. Coach, just finished reviewing film from a wide receiver prospect who reached out to us directly, Tony Cantrell from West Mesquite High. He sent us his tape after seeing your Creole Plains Conference Media Day interview last month. According to his email, your comments about development philosophy and the craftsman approach to coaching really resonated with him. On paper, he's a 2-star wide receiver that most programs are overlooking. But there's something genuinely intriguing about this kid that warranted a deeper dive. Quick profile, 6'3", 193 pounds, physical tendency, 2-star rating, 42 catches, 618 yards, 7 TDs his senior season. He's a 3-sport athlete, football, basketball, track. He has a strong academic focus, a 3.7 GPA, with an interest in sports medicine. What jumps out? His basketball background is evident in everything he does. The spatial awareness, body control, and timing on contested catches are elite traits that aren't showing up in traditional recruiting evaluations. Watch the play at 322. He adjusts to an underthrown ball while maintaining position against the DB, essentially boxing him out like he's grabbing a rebound. That's not coached, that's instinct. Best sequences, at 141 he high points the ball between 2 defenders, absorbs contact, and maintains balance. At 237, he has a subtle route adjustment against zone coverage that shows football IQ beyond his years. At 358, the blocking sequence where he drives a corner 12 yards downfield, finishing the play. And 503, a red zone fade where his body control and hand placement are Division I ready. Character notes. Spoke with Coach Trevino, who says Tony's basketball background has shaped his approach to football. He's extremely coachable, applies concepts quickly, and has developed rapidly considering he's only focused on football full-time this past year. Had an enlightening conversation with his father, Dr. Cantrell, who's raised Tony alone since he was 7. The emphasis on academics isn't just talk. Tony's maintained a 3.7 GPA while balancing 3 sports. His biology teacher, Mr. Garcia, mentioned Tony's genuine excitement about kinesiology and sports medicine, already exploring potential pre-med tracks at college. His English teacher, Mrs. Crawford, noted how he's taken on mentoring role with freshman athletes, helping them balance academics and athletics. She mentioned he's well respected on campus and has a knack for bringing different types of students together in his study groups. Why he's overlooked? Cantrell's route tree is admittedly limited. West Mesquite's offense only had him running about 4 to 5 basic patterns. His 40 time at 4.67 doesn't jump off the page for a receiver. The biggest factor though? His father, a single dad who teaches biology at Eastfield College, prioritized academics over football camps. While other receivers were attending summer showcases, Tony was at anatomy and physiology workshops. His father's academic emphasis means Tony missed key exposure opportunities, but what most programs are missing is that his functional game speed and separation come from body control, route physicality, and contested catch ability, not straight line speed. My take? This is exactly the type of developmental prospect who thrives in our system. The physical tools and competitive mentality are there, and his multi-sport background gives him movement patterns most football-only receivers don't possess. He shows exceptional body control in tight spaces, and his catch radius is remarkable for a 2-star prospect. His basketball footwork translates perfectly to our route concepts, and once our staff refines his release packages and expands his route tree, he could develop into a legitimate red zone and possession threat by his redshirt sophomore year. The ceiling here is much higher than his ranking suggests. What's equally impressive is how he could contribute to our program culture. His natural leadership and academic drive would be valuable beyond the field. The way he mentors younger students while maintaining his own academic excellence suggests he'd thrive in our campus environment and help strengthen team cohesion. Worth noting, in his initial email to us, he specifically mentioned your Conference Media Day comments about developing the complete student athlete and how our program's emphasis on academic excellence was a key factor in his interest. He included several thoughtful questions about how we help players balance athletic development with pre-med coursework. This isn't a kid throwing out a wide net. He's done his research on our program specifically. I've already spoken with Tony and his father. They're particularly interested in our academic support system for pre-med students, our player development approach, and our history with basketball to football crossover athletes. Dr. Cantrell was impressed by our graduation rates and seemed relieved that we value his son's academic aspirations as much as his athletic potential. Let me know if you want to arrange a call. Al. All right, as always, Al doing phenomenal work scouting, finding us guys that nobody else has identified. Let's go find T. Cantwell and add him to the board. All right, Tony Cantrell, physical wide receiver, 6'3", 193, good enough size to play at the D1 level, out of Mesquite, Texas. Let's add him to our board. All right, 35 guys on. Cantrell's not going to get a scholarship. I mismanaged that. We'll get him one hopefully next week. And that does it for the initial recruiting board. We've got our schedule set, so let's jump ahead a week see where we stand with these guys, and then we got to start prioritizing who we're going after based on who has other teams after them, and then start putting together a recruiting class to add to Andres Magnifico and Joe Chickolo. All right, at first glance, nobody has cut us off their board. That's a good look. Let's dive into it a little bit more. Okay, we got 350 hours. I think I'm just going to try to put 35 to 40 on guys and see how that does, because then we can get 10 guys with points as opposed to just getting 7 guys with 50 points. So Orlando, I think we can hold off on. We made a big jump there. Ladson, we're okay. Quatoriano, Oklahoma State's jumping up, but I think we're dead even with them. Lester hasn't made a cut yet. I'd like to get 35 into him. I'm pretty sure 40 points will get us to jump up his board. I don't know if I've tried 35, so we're going to try that with Lester. Hopefully it doesn't backfire. He's got nobody else offering him, but he's really close to getting into his top 8, and I'm hoping 35 can get us into the top 8. David Pack, we're okay. Barnes, we may have to pull off Barnes. I mean, we're going against Sam Houston State, Kansas. See, G. Williams looks like we'll be okay. To Patrick Duck, Texas Tech, he really likes them. Stork, nothing. Farr will be okay. Delario, again, there's SMU and Sam Houston. Shermer, this is a guy we're just getting 50 on. We're not going to mess around with him. We need his speed and run stopper tendency on our team. Torres would be another good get. I like the field general tendency, but let's see where we stand with these other guys. Redmond would be okay. Doucette is pass coverage. UNLV. Franco, okay. Cheek, we may pull off of. Gee, again, Texas Tech is there. Apple, Hernandez, UNLV. So I'm trying to decide, do I jump into some of these battles and put points on them, or do I just pick the guys that don't have anybody on them that I know we can make great progress with? And I think that's what I'm leaning towards. You know, like Grimm and Sanders. Grimm for sure, I think it's not 50, but 35. Cantrell, we're 9th. Let's get him a scholarship. Hopefully continue to move up his board just with that scholarship. Okay, so now we got to go by need. Let's go Heron. Quatoriano, we're going to jump 35 on. Pack, we're going to leave. And then I think as far as offensive line goes, you see Sam Houston made quite a big jump just with a scholarship, but I think we made a pretty big jump as well for Barnes. But then you see Williams doesn't have anybody on him. I'm going to get 35 on Williams. Westfall will be okay. Like Duck, I don't know if I want to battle with Texas Tech. Stork would be a good get. Let's jump up his board. Farr is okay. I think Torres, let's throw 35 on. Again, I like the field general archetype. Cheek, we're probably off. Gee, probably not. Apple would be a good get. Let's get 35 on him. Hernandez would be cool to get too, but I don't think that's going to work. I'm tempted to go after Baskerville here, just because Texas State's on him, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to battle for Hernandez. I've got 15 points. Gee, it probably doesn't matter. Yeah, it's one of these guys. I'd like a hybrid safety. How many JUCOs are we? It doesn't hurt to miss out on one. Just so dead set and getting JUCO guys in. Duck, we're probably not getting. Pack, we could get. So there's one. Maybe Apple 2. I'm gonna go with Orgy. I like that he's a freshman over Hernandez. I'd like to get a JUCO guy in, but we're second there, so we still have time to decide to go after him. And that's the case for. I only added guys that were interested in us, which makes it easier moving forward. Because then if we're in a battle, we're still in his top 3. And we got 3 scholarships. We have time to maybe sign somebody and get after him. And it does help that we signed these 2 guys. All right, let me organize the board, and then we'll move on. And I'm actually going to take 10 off Apple and get 25 on Orgy. All right, so we got 10 guys with points. I feel good about that. We've identified our main needs. I think Shermer's our number 1 target for sure. If I lose out on this guy, that's going to hurt. And then wide receivers, some O-line, linebackers, a little depth at corner and safety. And then everything else I think we can kind of fill in as we go. We got 2 DNs signed. We may still look at one in the portal, like I mentioned before, just so we get somebody who's, mid-80s instead of mid-70s. All right, let's check out top classes. Seeing as we signed 2 guys, we're at the top here. That may not happen for a while again, but it's good to see right now. 2 instant commits in the first week. That's a great way to start off our recruiting class. Let's move on. Let's check out some week 0 games here. Quite a few. Are there any in our conference? Yeah. So Memphis, Louisiana, Tulane, and Houston all play. But no game for us. Let's move on, see how we stand recruiting. Okay, again, nobody has cut us off their board. All right, so week 1, taking on UL Monroe. That'll be in the next episode. Thanks for tuning into this one. If you haven't liked or subscribed yet, I'd appreciate it if you did that. And if you got any thoughts on the Dynasty, please leave them below. This Dynasty is going to continue to get better and better, and I think it will get better faster if you drop your ideas, comments, feedback in the comment section below. All right, that's where I'll leave you. Until the next one, keep gaming, keep growing, and keep celebrating those obscure victories. Game on.